Hi guys, and welcome back. I just wanted to say thank you so much to the people who have emailed me, subscribed to me, and who are like actually watching my videos. It's super exciting. I just remember when I was starting my journey as a teacher and I was like looking for resources, looking for videos, looking for podcasts, on how to hone my craft, on how to become a better educator, and some of the small little details that you need as a teacher. And I wasn't able to find all those resources. And specifically for people who did special education, I really wasn't able to find that. And so I wanted this channel to be a place where people could find the answers to their questions. YouTube is such a big platform, but I'm finding that like the teacher part of YouTube is so small. It's the end of May, and I was reflecting on how far I've come as a teacher and what it felt like to get my first teaching job. And I realized that I had recorded these like videos on my iPhone as I was like going for interviews and all sorts of the stuff to get my first teaching job. And I found them the other day, and I was rewatching them and just thinking about how far I've come as a teacher, and all the fears that I had, I was so nervous when I was going to my interviews, and just the ups and downs of trying to find a job and figuring out where I wanted to be. And so I thought that it would be nice to make a video just talking about my experience of getting a teaching job. First, I want to give you the timeline for me of becoming a teacher. So I started college September 2011, and I went to school in Boston, and then I graduated with my bachelor's degree in special ed and my licensure in special ed May of 2015. And then I left Boston and I went to Champaign, Illinois to do my master's degree. And so that was a 2-year program. So by the time I was done with schooling, it was May 2017. I had my master's, had my degrees, had my licensure, and I was ready to find a job. And so I ended up coming back to the East Coast, coming back to New England and settling in Providence, Rhode Island, and looking for a teaching job. So I kind of started on that journey, and I remember it was like summer, it was June 2017. I was just home with my parents in Maine, not really working, not really thinking about anything. I just kind of was having fun. I was traveling, hanging out with my friends. I went on trips like every weekend. I had no money. I don't really remember how I was doing this, but in the back of my mind, I was like, I need to apply to jobs. I need to apply to jobs. So I started applying everywhere. I wanted to live in Rhode Island, so I applied everywhere in Massachusetts, Rhode Island. I also applied to some jobs in my hometown and around my hometown in Maine, because I thought if I don't find a job, I need something. I might as well live at home if I can't find anything. And so that kind of set me down this path. I did use School Spring to apply to my jobs, and on School Spring you upload all of your like credentials, your resume, your what else? What's it called? I'm losing my mind. Your references and the reference letters and everything. It's all on SchoolBrains. So as I was looking for jobs every day, I would just click like apply, 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 and I applied to like hundreds of jobs. I mean, hundreds. And I was so nervous. And then I applied to jobs like in random states too. I don't know, sometimes you like things go through your mind where you're like, I'm not gonna find a job. I applied to jobs in like Florida where my grandma lived. I applied in Las Vegas. I applied everywhere. I didn't want to live there, but I was like, if I can't find a job, I need something. And slowly I started hearing back from people. And at first I was like kind of surprised and like, I hope I hear back from somebody. But I heard back from like tons of school districts, and all of a sudden all the things started pouring in, all the interviews. And so I had to schedule them and fit them all in. But I was really holding out for a job near Providence, Rhode Island. I was really holding out for a special ed job. And I remember in the Northeast, school for us like primary school, middle school, high school, starts in September after Labor Day. So the best time to apply to jobs is like July, August, because then you can like start and like prepare your classroom for the school year in September. So I heard back from 3 different school districts all around Providence, Rhode Island. I heard back from them maybe the beginning of July 2017. So I actually planned all my interviews on the same day, and I drove to Providence, and I had my interviews. And I'm going to insert some of the videos of how I was feeling, what I was thinking about, and all my interviews had like a lot of pros and a lot of cons. So I'll play those clips and then we'll be right back. Basically, I want to add this in to my video talking about interviewing for teaching jobs and how to get a teaching job, because right now I'm about to go to my first of 2 interviews today in my desired area that I want to live. It's super surreal. They both contacted me and I got to set them up on the same day. So they're both jobs that I'm really excited about. I'm really, really looking forward to talking to both of the principals from these 2 different schools. And just kind of, talking about myself, because everyone likes to talk about themselves, but also just to kind of see about the school and if I'd be a good fit and if they're interested in hiring me. And so I'm really excited. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm not that nervous because I'm like, I know my stuff. Like, I know whatever they're going to ask me, I'm going to know how to answer. All right, back on the camera again, on the phone. Looking for something while I'm talking to you. My first interview went really, really well. They asked me to come back to do teaching day, so I'm excited about that. And now I just pulled up for my second interview, which is the one I want more than the first one, because this one's preschool special ed and that's my specialty. So at least I'm glad I got a kind of like a practice one for this one, because then I'll know the answers to give. And yeah, I really want this one. And I think they're really interested in me, because the other job liked me a lot, but they were interviewing a lot of people at the same time. So there was a girl that went before me and there's someone that went after me. Whereas this one, there's no one in the parking lot but me, and I think the other lady just pulled up over there to interview me. So I feel good about it. They called me and they wanted me to come in a couple days later. So I think that they're trying to get it done, and I think they think I'm a good candidate. So hopefully. So I'll fill you guys in afterward. All right, so second interview is done. I don't know about that one. I'm struggling. So I didn't know this, but it's only a 0.8 position, which means it's not full-time and it's not part-time. It's in the middle. So I'd have 2 afternoons off, which I don't want to do, but I'm open to it. If then one day it will lead to a full-time position, but I just don't want to not get paid that much. Like, I'd rather get a full salary. I don't know. It's weird. And it's with medically fragile children, so it's not with autism like I thought it was going to be. They already filled that position. So now I gotta figure it out. But I'm struggling because the first interview I had, it lasted an hour. We talked for so long. I got along with all the people in the room. It was so great. I feel like it was such a good fit with me in terms of like who I'd work with. But I like the position, but it's 3rd grade. So it's like almost to the edge of not being early childhood anymore. And also it's year round. So I only get like times off like for like a few weeks here, a few weeks there, versus like getting the whole summer off. I don't know if I want that. Whereas this, I would get a normal summer off and I'd have a normal classroom, but I would only work 5 mornings and 3 afternoons. So like, I don't know if I want that either. All right, so good news. I got a job offer today. It's not my first job offer, but it's definitely the one that I want. Last week, I think I showed the footage of when I had those 2 interviews in one day, and the first one I went to, I didn't think I'd want that position, but I liked the people better, whereas the second one I wanted that position, but I didn't like the people or
the job actually as much as I thought I would. So I came back today and I did a full working interview, just kind of got to shadow in the classroom and all this stuff, and ended up that I'm really excited for that first job, which it's not even like necessarily early childhood, it's a third grade position, but I'm so excited. It's in special ed, it's in the setting I want, and I'm about to drive to my final interview for that, where they'll give me my formal offer, and I'm super, super excited.
I hope you saw those clips. I hope they were helpful. I was a little confused. I didn't know what to choose. And I felt kind of blindsided with that one pre-K job that I thought was full-time, but it wasn't. It was super weird. And I liked the school and I liked the setting, but it wasn't, I could tell it wasn't an exact fit for me. But that other job, that was the third and fourth grade job, I really, really enjoyed the people. I enjoyed my time in the interview, and I got a good vibe. Like when I walked into the office, the secretary was like happy, and there were some like teachers in there because it was in the morning before school started, and the teachers were in there like chit-chatting and having fun, and no one was like bad-mouthing people. Everyone had like a smile on their face. That was just like really refreshing. I ended up going back to that school the next week for like a working interview, and they asked me to get there at 9 because they said that I couldn't get there earlier because all the teachers were having like a breakfast party potluck thing, and everyone was like gonna be busy enjoying their food. And I thought that was so cool because like all the teachers clearly were in a good mood. They were having a potluck. They all wanted to be together. And then by the time I got there, everybody was really happy, and I got to see how the kids walked in and how they ran their classrooms, and got to talk to a bunch of different teachers, and I really enjoyed that. And then I was able to kind of feel it out and look at my classroom. Actually, my first year, because that was the job that I accepted, surprise, my first year, my classroom was like empty because they hadn't been using that classroom for anything. So I got to like build that classroom up from the ground up, and it was really cool to get to decorate it the way that I really wanted. And they had to get me some furniture because it was like basically empty. There were like no desks in there or anything. But I loved it, and I was so happy with my choice. So when I accepted the job, I actually had to meet with like the director, like superintendent, basically that type of person, to get the formal offer and to just go over my contract. And he wanted to like talk about my experiences and all this stuff. And it was a long conversation, but it was good. And I got my formal offer and I was able to sign it. The following week, I went to the HR people. It was the summer. I got my job for the timeline, I was offered the position. No, I can't remember. I did my interview beginning of July. I was offered the position end of July. So the following week, I went to HR and I filled out all the paperwork for everything, health insurance, life insurance, stuff like that. Your W-2 forms, if you're in the States, everything like that in order to be like a real employee. And then I was given like access to go into the school and start putting my classroom together. And so by like mid to late August, my classroom was like all set up and looked really nice. And then there was like a holiday. I went and traveled for a little bit, came back Labor Day, and then the day after Labor Day was like the first day, like kind of like the intro day. There were no kids, but all the teachers and the assistants went to this like had this like opening day professional development type of thing. And then the second day after that, we had a day to like clean our classrooms. Me and my paraprofessionals could sit down and like make sure we were all on the same page with like in the same headspace. We talked about like behavior management. We talked about teaching small groups and what we were going to do with that, so that when the kids came the following day, we were like all on the same page. And I was so grateful that they did it like that, because it kind of relieved some of my stress, because I was able to meet all my coworkers early, talk to all the people in my classroom and all the service providers, and kind of all get on the same page and scheduling and everything like that. And it was just so enjoyable, and I loved it. And then I started my school year and I was rocking and ready to go. Obviously, there were a lot of things that I needed to learn. I needed to learn how to write proper IEPs, how to do progress reports, how to take data, how to communicate better, lesson plan effectively. All that stuff came with time as I went about my first and second year as a teacher. But getting my initial job was really scary. But I hope that this video was really helpful for you. I hope that it gave you some really good tips and information. Just wanted to share my journey of how I found my job, and it's been a really cool journey so far, and I don't plan on leaving the profession. I'm not burnt out, because burnout is real, and I'm not looking to change districts or jobs anytime soon. So it is possible to find a job and find your bliss at the beginning. So anyway, hope this was helpful, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks.